Alright, we're going to take her, and I think if I hide her, the clothing's going to stay. Yep. Alright, so let's group. Let's hold this down, copy it, and let's create a group. And then we're going to name it group Scion. Accept. There we go. She's gone. So let's turn on the buildings here. Oop. There we go. So that's the scene from far away. That's everything. And I really need a few more just to give it depth, because when we get to the atmosphere part, I kind of want to add some fog or haze further back and then build it forward as I get closer to the camera. So we're going to come down here to the road. Oh, come on, road. There we go. Let's zoom in. Zoom in on the road here. Okay, there we go. Let's get down to the camera. All right. So what I want to do is, I think, like I said, add some slum buildings in here. I'd like to add some telephone poles along the road, and I think I have some, even from Stonemason has some that are kind of collapsing in his abandoned building set. So let's start with that, and I believe I have that in my building exterior. City ruins. Nah, nothing, not a separate piece. Alright, so I know I have it in a few other sets, so let's look up telephone pole here. So building exterior, library, props. Okay, telephone. I think I made this one way back with Poser. It's actually a Poser file. Yeah, PP2. Did that years ago. I think before I started using DAS. Alright, here's another one. Okay, destroyed city. Boy, that's all I have. Okay, so that one's in my... Alright, so that's in my Poser format, but DAS. Props, destroyed city. Oh, okay, it's this set here. Okay. Let's find it here. Alright, but there's no wires coming off it, and I don't want to fake the lines because of, just using a primitive because it doesn't have that sag. I mean, it'll work for just a single piece. Alright, so let's go into some of my city sets and see what else I have. I could have sworn I had some more, even like this, with wires just going down to the ground. Alright, here, props. Let me go into stonemason stuff. Even though he's started to put stuff in different areas, I've been moving them all into his name in one location so I can find it easily. There he is. So I got abandoned city. Yeah, there's a couple of his street lamps. That'd be nice. The way with the ivy. Got his. Oh, that's a big set. City ruins. Not gonna have it. Little creek won't. Well, let's just go through and see what I all have. Without doing, I think, metadata for each individual part, it's really hard to find. A lot of these little things that are in sets like this. Oh, hallway. Jeez, I can't read it. That's a highway. And it's tough when a lot of these sets are just named after their name instead of the actual item itself. I don't know what this is here. Oh, okay, some more ruins and bricks that didn't show up when I looked for debris. Alright, I'm working my way back up to environment. Here's a nice set too, these dust particles. Looks pretty nice. I did on my patrol image. I'm sure when I go to look for it, I won't remember where it is. Okay, let's see what we got here. Alright, so let's go up to environments. Abandoned district. Okay, let's see what I have in this one. That was a good set. A lot of good debris. There's a street lamp. There's a street lamp. Let's get that in. Let's get this one in also. Take a look at it later. Put some poles up here and some signs along the edge, or we'll just add them in there now that I find them, and then I can always remove it. I think little tiny little previews. It's hard to see. Don't need a ladder. Oh, here we go. Here's some electric cables. I think this is what I want. Oh yeah, see them right there. Alright, oh, maybe I can add them, move them around and connect them between the buildings. That's the whole bridge. We'll add a barrier down there. Alright. See what else we come across. Oh, here's the dystopian desert scene. Let's see if we get props here. I don't want too much. It's medium poly. Let's put that in here, and we'll put it in the back. Move it over into the building set and see if we can't load in here. Let's see if we can't use it as a nice background building. We'll cobble this thing together. It took so long I had to pause it, even though I would have edited out. Alright, so let's take a look at this building here, see if it was even worth the time it took. I don't know. It's iRay, let's just... Yep. I don't want to rotate it. I'm just going to grab it and just get it out of here for now. Nah, I don't even like it. But I'm definitely going to save. Alright, so let's see what else we have. Alright, so that's the stuff to build up out of the sand. Oh, that's the modern, the Greebles. Phil, I guess, Date Night and Day background city. It's a pretty nice set. It's sci-fi wreckage. That'd be kind of to add some stuff in. I'm not going to do it right now. We can always come back to it if we just want to fill up some space down here. Yeah, see, I already moved his stuff out. Right, so, alright, so that's pretty much, where's the lands? There's the landscapes where people are putting buildings in here too. So use any of the environment stuff. Okay, here's the broken road, which is what we're using right now. Modular parts. Alright, so there's really not much else in here that I could use. Environments, let's find the architectural. Alright, here we go. Decor. Some more stuff you could use as just debris and filler. Pub, retreat. That's where I got the buildings. Little urban disaster. If they have it, but not much you can see from down below if I put it in up here. I don't think there's anything exterior here, no. I don't think the storefront had anything. I remember I could use some building lights if we use a dark scene, but I'm just going to put some orbs or some round primitives in and give them some emitters, because they'll be a distance away. Alright, let's see what we got here. I want iRay props. Yeah, some of this may look pretty good down on the freeway. Props that we can use outdoors. Oh, unused railroad bridge. They had some scenes. I don't want to mix up too many. I don't want to add too many different types of lighting. There's the whole base. No ivy to cover it. Interior stuff. West Park. Okay, I'm pretty much done. So, where I put it, I think it's in props. Oh, okay, it's just the background flat images. Oh, okay, that's that. Another atmosphere. Oh, that's my set. Let's see. No, I didn't have any poles in that. The rubble. It's gonna be smaller. Nice background set. It's huge. Tower stuff. The props here for the outdoor stuff. Sparky World, they had a nice set of stuff. Alright, nothing there. Darn it. Got here some more debris. I think there's a destroyed city in their group of stuff that I got. Oh, railroad tracks. Darn, thumbnails are so small. Your tower crane may look pretty good in the background. Let's add that. A lot of old freebies. Oh, okay, the toy packaging. Alright, Dreamlight I have. Oh, that's the flying. Or planes, flat planes with the decals, and they make it look like ships flying in the sky. In the sci-fi set. Well, cyberpunk streets. More debris. Boy. Yeah, I got a lot of his stuff, but I don't think he has telephone poles as a separate add-on. I think I'm going to be fast forwarding through this. Nothing in there. Oh, Rome Bridge. Here's the Shattered World set I was talking about. I converted them to DAS so they would actually load and use their morphs. Oh, here it is. Okay, here's the Sparky World stuff. Yep, here it is right here. Perfect. This is what I was looking for. Jeez. Took me long enough. Some more debris. Oh, I don't even remember what those ones were. Huh. Alright, good. There's some more stonemason, which I think we already looked at. But I'm not really going for a ruins look. Only in this front part of the scene. I'm just kind of use that slum stuff in the background. Let's go with all this stuff. Let's go through all this stuff I just added, because I don't think any of it is iRay. Oh, that is cool. Oh, that is too. Alright, good. Alright, so let's go over to our shaders and let's start adding iRay to this stuff. There we go. Okay, then we're gonna. Okay, they kept the roughness up. A lot of times it's way down and it shines. They got it so reflective. Yeah, see, like right here. Let's move that up. Move that up. And I think the reason why is because I didn't hold down the control button to ignore. Yeah, see, when you ignore the decals, it does this. When I forget, takes that all the way down. The decals stay. Which I don't know what's quicker, saying that or just changing this. Very good. Alright, so which one is the, oh, that's the whole thing, so actually I gotta open this all up. Yeah, because only part of it got an iRay. Alright, there we go. So it's all iRay. Kind of want it rough. There's no bump maps to any of this, which is fine. It's going to be in the background. But it's a pretty big set. That's nice. Move it back over here. Let's open up put it into our buildings, and boop, it's gone. And then we can deal with its placement once we go into the buildings. All this stuff I want to add to the road. There we go. So let's take a look at this first pole that I added. Okay, that's fine. And get it up out of the. Okay, that's that ivy street light from stonemason through here, and then I think if it key maps this stuff, great. So should be able to add lights to the bulbs and let it light up the scene a little bit through here. And from the road, you can tell that it's just. I just have it placed in the middle here. I'm just going to do a couple more instances of this. I'm definitely not going to crazy. Where's my instances? There's one. There's two. Looks like they're starting to float. Yeah, I don't know why they got so high in the air, so let's get it down here. Let's move it over the road. Okay, there we go. So let's rotate this one around. Put it in the center, and then we'll do this one, same thing. We'll rotate it and get it over here. And it might not even be visible from the camera. Oh yeah, there they are. Okay, that looks pretty good. Oh, there's a group of our telephone poles. Nice distance look. Alright, so let's go down to our next. Put it with that so it's all grouped together. To the wrong thing there. So let's take a look at the second one. Bring it up out of here so we can see it. It's even worth yeah, there's not much to it. I don't see a point to that one. Street lamp 2. Yeah, that'll look good. So we got props. Alright, so it's a one piece and looks like the lighting is part of the texture. It's not a separate piece. If we're going to light it, we'd actually have to add bulbs to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to treat it as if, say, there was a road here at one point. From down below, we would never know that there's all that debris. Grab it, start here, let's see if that's not too far away. It is, so we don't even need it here. So let's come in our Z-axis here until we can see it. There we go. And then we'll just line both sides really. So let's do some instances. I'm wondering, the reason why I paused is I'm thinking about if I do a darker scene, if I'm going to add lighting, maybe I should add the bulb now before I start doing instances of it, because then I'm going to have to add a bunch of them. If I don't use it at all, I'm wondering if some of the lighting from the building, yeah, you know what, let's add a primitive. We're going to do a sphere, pretty small, there we go. Grab it, attach it to that street lamp. Okay, but now let's get the sphere and let's actually bring it over here. Bring it up. I got nowhere near it, it looks like. See how far away I got from it. Alright, here we go. Zoom in. Zoom around. Okay, I'm pretty close now. At least I thought I was. Yep, there we go. So we'll bring it. We'll bring it halfway out like this. So when you see it, it'll actually just look like part of the lens. You could even stretch it this direction. There we go. Alright, so let's go to our render. Oh, and select it. Render. Alright, there we go. Now it's lit up. It's way too low. We want it a lot redder. Well, no, that would make it redder. We want it yellower. But not. We're just going to do a standard. Luminance. We'll leave it at centimeters for now. Street lamp. Here we're going to make instances of the street lamp with the light. 5 should be enough, I believe. Move the instances into it. And facing the wrong way, of course. Let's get them all kind of lined up. Back up here. Grab the next one. They're all high, so let's grab our instance group. Bring it down. Don't want to rotate it. Have to translate, so let's get it down. There we go. Let's rotate the whole group. Okay, so it changes the pivot point still in the center. So let's move the whole thing over here, and then we can work on each individual. Oops. We'll work on each individual light, spread it out along the road here. Further view of them and kind of eyeball distance. We don't want this one directly even with the road, so we'll come on this side of it. Let's just go just on this side of it because of the spacing of the next one. Then this one will move down a little bit. There we go. Next, we're going to move them back a little bit. And I moved them out of order. So let's see where, there it is. So there we go. So there's our group. Go to the camera view and see how they look. And I hit I-ray instead, darn it. Let's go back to texture shading. Try this again. Camera view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, they're all in scene. I think the original one needs to go further back, and then we'll move the instances towards us after we move it. Since I have them all grouped together, the whole thing should move. Yep. So let's get that. Let's go to our instances. And we'll bring that back this way like that. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's go back to our perspective view. Let's see if we grab the street lamp. Oh, each one of those don't have the sphere, darn it. Oh yeah, it does, okay. So let's grab that one. Let's just duplicate it. Duplicate node and the hierarchy, so then it grabs all the attachments. So there we go. So then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees, or 180, I'm sorry. We'll go in here and there we go. So let's move it on this side of the road. Over here and take a look. Went too far. Let's place it even with the ground here. There we go. Not that we're going to see it on the base. It's still nice to be accurate somewhat. Yeah. So we're going to move it down. Let's go to our camera view and see how they line up. Okay, pretty good. Alright, so let's move on to our next object. We'll move that one up below that so they're together. Oh, I actually put it in there. Oh, it didn't move on me is what it was. So let's... won't let me. Okay, so let's see what this street sign is. Translate and put it right here. And see if it's even visible in the camera view. Yep, there it is. Okay, very good. Won't be able to read it, I don't believe, but at least it's there just for more items. Our next thing is the street sign 2. We'll see what that one is. Well, that's the no parking. Alright, let's back out of here. So if we say the telephone pole's on the sidewalk, street sign would just be along the edge here somewhere, which actually in that case our street lamps would actually be back a little further. To make this look like there's actually the width of a road there. Let's click on our street sign 2. Let's raise it up some. Alright, let's go back to camera and see if that's visible. It is. And we could even add... No, that's going to be fine. I mean, we could add a couple more if I just want more stuff, but I have more stuff already added to the scene. So let's work on these electrical cables, which are right here, which actually I'm going to move up into the building group, because I'm going to put it between the building barrier. Move across, we'll put it just right here. Rotate it around. Does the arrow go? Nope. Yeah, we'll just put it here because there's an opening, almost like there was a detour at one point. Let's get down here and let's wait a little bit. Let's get it touching the ground here. Rotate it a little bit. Up. And we'll raise it up. Alright, there we go. We'll see how the textures look. Metal back. Okay, so that's... Okay, the texture is just, I was wondering if maybe I could light these up. Okay, so that's just some graffiti that's written on here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to add another primitive, and then we're going to make lights for that. So create a primitive. We're going to use the sphere. Accept. Let's add it to the barrier, and let's find it and bring it over here. Size is actually pretty good. So let's zoom in here, move it up. We're going to increase the size a little bit just to fill up. Alright, then we're going to squish it flat. Basically in the Z. Oh. So that means I'm going to have to scale it up a little bit bigger. There we go. We'll bring it down. And over. Okay, there we go. So let's make this an emission. Let's go down to shaders, iRay, DAS, emissive. Alright, so now we're going to go We're going to make it an orange. There we go. We're going to just make the color the same. Whoop. Then we're going to leave it like that, but I'm going to change it down to 100, and then we're going to change it to kilometers. Instead of using, we could stay at centimeters, but what happens is we have to use super large numbers, and I like change it to kilometers and just using small numbers, even though it does large increases. Alright, so we have that. Let's duplicate that. It's an edit, duplicate. We're going to bring it across and fill that location. There we go. Sphere's in with the barrier. Okay, so that's there in that place. So if we go to camera view, let's click on something else. And it's hidden, so alright, I'm going to have to move it so it's visible with whatever's right here blocking the view. And what I'm going to do is let's turn on the camera light so we can see what it is from this angle. Camera, turn on the headlamp. Okay, so this barrier is blocking it. So let's click. Alright, so it's like directly behind it. So let's see if this barrier is a movable object. And if it is, we'll just move it out of the way instead of placing the barrier in a different location. So let's come down here and let's back out and see where that barrier is. And okay, so it's way back here. Nah, it's not gonna work. So let's just move the whole. It's a good part of the scene. I don't want to change that. So let's move the barrier over here. Let's get it up on the road surface. Let's find this texture here in the surfaces. I don't see the arrow in there. So that's the metal part of it. It's got to be in here. Yeah, I don't see it. Well, let's take this image editor, and what we're going to do is I just want to flip it, but I don't know if this invert is color or if it's, turn that back off, and let's go to lie, zoom the fit, we got our props, flip horizontal, but I don't know if that's going to screw up the mapping on the product. It did. Okay, so the white is actually, or the arrow must actually be one of the cutouts. Put it back. Interesting. I don't see it. It's not a cutout. Okay, well, what we're going to do then is just rotate the whole barrier around, and then we'll just lose the arrow, and it'll just look like that. And actually I need to work on the sphere. And bring it over, so the sign must have been on a little angle for it to not line up, so that's fine. So let's go back to our camera view. Alright, it's right here. Let's bring her into it just to see if she's blocking it. No? Okay. So actually we'll have to keep an eye on that because it'll actually block anything I put on this side of the road under the overpass. So I'll have to do it, most of the stuff on this side, unless I add something up close on this side. Alright, so let's go to fencer corner, see what that even is. Oh, okay, that was this. I'm going to bring this up by the barrier. Drop it. Okay, it's touching the ground there. Okay. Alright, so our next telephone pole, let's bring it up and see what we have. And nah, don't need it. It doesn't have much of a profile. Okay, here's our busted telephone poles. Okay. We will... Sorry, I keep saying okay. The camera looks good. Maybe do it again here. And then I know I have another telephone pole in there. Let's see what these ones look like. Look good. These are straight without any damage. So we'll put it over here. It looks like I'm going to have to scale it up to match that single one I had. Alright. Much easier if I can just grab it, not having to switch. There we go. So we'll space it out like this. Let's see what I scaled it up. 128. Let's go to these. We'll scale it up the same amount. We'll come back. See if they line up. They do. We're going to do some instances of this. Not many. I just want to do another one here and then on the other side of the road. Now I'm just going to do one instance just to bring it back over here. Attach it to it so I don't lose the location of it. See where they ended up. There we go. There won't be any lines between that group, but that's fine. I don't know how noticeable the actual lines will be from this distance. So let's see what this street lamp. Oh, that's that group there. You see that? I want to add a couple shacks here, so let's go back to perspective. Let's go down. I do have a shack town, so let me find, there it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to add one of the lean-tos. Okay, here's the shack, so we'll add that. Alright, so there's our shack. Go to it. We'll do a couple of them. One there. I want to change the metal panels, give them more wear. That one should look good. Alright, there we go. Looks kind of beat up. Make sure we can even tell what it is. Okay, yeah. Poles going across the road. Let's beat up poles. Let's save it. And then we're going to, or I'm going to, turn off the headlamp. And then we're going to do an I-ray render of just this part of it. And we'll see what we come up with, how it looks. Alright, so we see our barrier lit up. We see the lights to the street poles, or street lights. Okay, looks pretty good. That'll look better once I turn off the lights, or turn down the lights a little bit. I don't want it this bright. But it does look pretty good. Let me go to the street lamps. And I don't think the spheres made it on this side. Let me change the luminance. Okay, see, I had that centimeter. So watch, It's at 5,000. I'm gonna change it to kilometers. See how they're glowing now? Yeah, see how bright it is? And once you can tell how it looks once the scene is darker. Still gonna turn it down to 1,000. Yep, they're visible. Let's go back to our texture shade. We're gonna turn this off, and now we're gonna work on buildings. Let's go to our perspective and just come out of it, and we'll find the, I'm going to start with the power lines. If I can get it to expand here. See, there's some poles down here. I think that they're in the wrong, oh, they got lines to them. I don't know what that's from. Oh, okay, so those power lines are actually part of, these poles are actually part of the whole electric cable. Check out the textures. Let's come down, because I'd really like to get rid of these and leave these lines, only because they're pre-made. Turn on the opacity. Okay, they went away. Let's see what the rust does. Nothing. Okay, so those power lines are actually textured rubber. What we'll do then is, or I will rotate this around like that. We'll move it back. We'll aim up. There we go. I'm going to have to turn on the road and maybe see if I can get some of these to touch some of the poles I already have. This direction, let's drop it down. Nah, it's not going to work because some of the stuff is just free floating. That's even with the sign. Yeah, I'm just going to have to do away with it. Oh, well, that was a thought. Okay, here's my crane. I have that way out nowhere. Let's come back and see where it is in relationship to my scene. Okay, here we go. Bring it up there. It'll have to overhang the back side of the building, but let's put it down on a building just for lighting effects. And it's not even visible, darn it. So what I'll have to do is work on the camera. Let's go to parameters. Let's turn the headlight on. That's what we're working with. So let's go into our camera. Let's change the focal length some. Still see everything. Let's save here real quick. Let's put her in the scene, and I'll probably have to move her forward. Nope, worked out good. Alright, so I'm going to add some more of these buildings back here. And I think I have a little short one in here somewhere. Maybe fill out this spot here. Maybe use one of this on an angle also. And we can hide you. We can hide the road here. Yeah, see it is right here, but it's, I don't know what instance it is. Let's just turn these on and off. See what group it's in. Alright, so it's in the second one here. There it is. Let's go back to camera. Turn her back on. If I move it out of the way, is it affecting anything? And no, it's not. So we'll drop it down a little. We'll bring it over here. Like that, because it doesn't really look, because we're using these angles, we don't really have this profile in complete view except for this one where it's just a little bit. So we'll do that. Grab this back building here and let's duplicate that instance. That's tower 8. So this is tower 8 there. Tower 2 here. I think I have a tower 2 back there. Duplicate another instance. And once I start doing some depth, Oop, oop, oop. Don't want that. Let's just scale it up a little. There it is back there. Okay. Tower view. And we're gonna do an iRay. Let's turn on the road. And I'll do an iRay with everything in scene and see what we come up with. I'm just looking at it, just trying to take it in and changes I could do. Really, this needs to go back behind it. You can tell it's setting on the roof. And if they're building a building, they're not going to put the crane on the building next door. Now, in that Sparky World set I have an unfinished framework of a building. So what we can do is find it, if I can find it. I'll put it behind this building, put the crane on it. What I'd like to do is up the camera, because her feet's too close to the end here. Tilt the camera back some, get the top of this in. Then, once I'm done setting it up, I'm going to work on lighting. What I kind of want to do is maybe not quite a night, but a dusk or a dawn where it's real dark and kind of bluish. I'm going to add some lights. And basically, I'm just going to add primitives with emissives in here. Do some square planes to make some of these windows look like they're lit up. Add some long, I don't know if they're tubes or what do they got? Cylinders. We're going to put some cylinders in, maybe give them some neon colors under some of these overhangs, or even off to the side behind the building here, just so it lights up some of the edges of the buildings with light. And then I'm going to use, I have two different ways. I have, in case I accidentally bump the camera view, we don't have to wait for it to re-render. Active, okay. So in my environments, I have a couple things we can do. In the atmosphere, I have the planes where I can add haze and then have it start here and then work towards the camera. So they're hazy the more farther out they are. But it doesn't give that volumetric look. It's just fog or haze or whichever texture I end up using. Now over in the volumetrics, what I have, it's basically a cube. And I place it over the whole scene, just outside the camera, and then all my lights that are in the set will, whoa. And then there's a couple, that's a spotlight one, it's basically a cone with on the end of a light. And in my material, I just have how much volumetrics there are, to real heavy to real soft. And then that's just a test one I did. So let's work on finishing the scene, and then we'll work on the lighting. So let's hide the road and her. Let me find the crane here. Alright, so we're going to put it behind it, drop it down. Camera, let's bring her back into it. There we go. And then holding the right mouse button will allow me to pan up. Back to our crane. It's still there. See, just moving it back that little bit, look how hidden it is. So do something like that. Let's decrease the angle a little bit, come back up. Alright, so here's an unfinished, there's a couple of them actually. There's an unfinished grid work, and here's an unfinished one that actually has some storing going on with it. So maybe if we can combine the two, and the HR is just high res. It's like, yeah, it looks blasted more than unfinished. Alright, like it says. So let's go to our girders. There we go. It's hollow, so what I can do is do some instances, shrink them down, and give it interior framework also, in addition to what is shown here. That's going to be tough to see. We'll see what happens. Bring it in. Let's go to our camera view and see if we can even see it. It doesn't look like it does it. So let's, since they're both connected, I just have to raise one up. There we go. Okay. All the buildings that are further back, basically I'm just going to have to raise them now to view farthest back one. So I don't want to go too high. See how you can start to see the sky underneath it. So let's drop it just down enough where you don't see the sky right there. Raise that one up. That's this back one right here. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. That guy right there. Way back. This is the one in the back. Oh yeah, you can see it. You can see the base of it in that gap. So we're still seeing the sky right there. So I'm going to have to add another building right in there. And we'll just, you know what, we'll duplicate this, we'll rotate it, and we'll stick it right here. We're going to move it because it is touching. We're going to put it in front so it hides. We'll bring it up some so it hides that part of it. We'll turn off the headlamp and we'll do another eye-ray render. Don't see the sky poking through anywhere. That's what I was looking for in my silence. And the road will be right here, so that'll hide all this down here, even the bottom of that. So let's go back to texture shading. Go back to our perspective camera. And let's zoom in. Let's zoom out on the whole thing. Just to give an idea of scale of what we're looking at. So there are so many ways that I could render this, and I like to try to do as much as I can in DAZ because it can do a lot of it and make it look good. Another way would be to first start off with just my background and then lose the background completely, don't have the dome on, and render these with an alpha background, PNG, do this layer, then here, and work my way forward, and then layer them in Photoshop, and then add my atmosphere between each layer, and then adjust how I want it to look as I go along, and even add the lighting. But like I said, I prefer to do it in DAZ Studio, and we have it set up, you know, like that. I mean, it's from a distance. But I can even go in and do a depth of field if I want, and we'll lose a lot of what I'm doing. But I can, maybe I'll render it both ways just to see between the two. But in the meantime, I plan on rendering it everything in focus and using atmosphere, planes, and a haze to give us the depth of field look. So the next I want to do is work on the lighting itself, the base lighting. I want to do something dark